Hello, Virgo. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. And as always, thank you so much for checking out these readings. And this week, we're going to be using the Crystal Visions Tarot. So, Virgo, very simply, looking at the two of these, it's all about you realizing that there may be some things about yourself that you're wanting to improve or to change, and your instincts are guiding you there. But it may be because of a situation coming through that you are needing to change the way that you act or handle these situations. Now, the monster within. This one is basically talking about changing your faults and your flaws into your strengths and needing to practice discipline every day to create new ways of dealing with frustrations and difficulties. But instinct is what kind of caught me on this one. Now, this one is talking about being guided to take a solitary journey here to fix whatever things you feel like are, I don't want to say wrong with you, but are your struggles or are your weaknesses. Now, instinct, the card at a glance says, to step into the light, we let go of all senses other than our pure instinct. When unfiltered, it guides us to the high ground and to the help of our angels. This is a time to be the protector or to be protected. You will know which role you are in. Here's your overall for the week. Oh, shit. I hate it when the Ten of Wands shows up. You know I've said before, when I see this, usually I shut it down because it's like there's just too much. There's too much going on. But because we're talking about a general reading, I'm just trying to prepare myself for all the different things that you may be dealing with right now. So with the Ten of Wands, something that's weighing you down. Feeling overwhelmed, taking on too much. Too many things going on right now for some of you. You guys you shift. You shift from dealing with, really difficult situations to getting a really good high, but then like when you come down, it's like, but we're looking at a 10, right? So hopefully it's all about dropping the burdens, dropping whatever is on your back right now and going back to the one. What is it with the Knight of Wands? I got a feeling he's going to be popping up all over the damn place. So now when we're talking about your fire sign, right? The Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is a past coming through. It could possibly be the person that you're dealing with here, the action that they're taking or you're taking. But very simply between the two, it's, going forward really quickly with a lot of passion and then becoming extremely overwhelmed. But, I don't know, like, what's up with him, right? Oh my God. In the present, the King of Wands, for some of you, you and this other person, whoever you're dealing with here, may have gotten into a situation really quickly. Looking at the Knight of Wands, but it's passionate. There's so much passion just between the two of them. Forget about the Ten of Wands, but why is it that this situation becomes overwhelming to you? Or what is it about this person that's overwhelming, right? Oh boy. But like I said, it could simply be that Virgos are like tired of being overwhelmed and they're seeking new adventures now and becoming extremely passionate, which is great. But I'm waiting to see. Future conditions, the Eight of Pentacles. What I don't like about this is because of the Ten of Wands. So if we're talking about a person, there may be a lot of passion. They may be like coming in like a whirlwind, sweeping you off your feet. There's all this passion involved, but this may be something that is like too much. Because with the Eight of Pentacles, you're talking about somebody that you're having to put a lot of effort into. I say that because of the Ten of Wands being there. You're busting your ass and putting in all the effort, but you're the one that's becoming overwhelmed and weighed down by the situation with this person. Now, with the King of Wands, besides dealing with somebody who may be a fire sign or, someone who is like very passionate or very attractive, this could be you dealing with somebody who is just all over the place. Especially with the Knight of Wands being above that, but I feel like you got involved, but there's still like your focus right now, but you're putting in a lot of work toward this. Your best path to follow, the Two of Pentacles. Ooh, boy. All right, Virgo. Now, with this deck, The description for this card is this person is happy that they're able to move with the changing energy, that they are flexible, because that is what that's about. You're still in the juggling act, right? Like trying to balance everything out. But for me, I kind of look at it like you're happy to do this, but then at the same time, it's becoming overwhelming, and I'm still wondering like why. Now for some of you, you could definitely have two different situations here, and you need to figure that out. Stop doing that to yourself, right? And it could just be that you need to stop being so flexible for somebody else who may not be putting in the same amount. And again, I say that because of this being your overall. In your environment, the Six of Wands, you boy, yeah. Liking the attention. I mean, yeah, I would too with the King of Wands, right? I live with him. I know what that's like. But with the Six of Wands being in your environment, I think that, for some of you, like I said, it doesn't feel really bad. It just feels really heavy on you. You may have a lot of passion for somebody. You may have gotten involved really quickly here. You may be putting in a lot of effort, but it may be because you like the attention. And it may be that this person is constantly wanting attention from you though too. That, or you're constantly having to put in the work here to get their attention. And, again, I say that because I'm looking at this, and I feel like this is mainly you needing to, look at how much you're willing to bend for someone else, because I almost feel like Six of Pentacles here between the two when it comes to attention, right? Oh my God, your hopes and your fears, yeah. The Three of Swords, fearing getting your heart broke, basically. Fearing having to deal with that again. I don't know. If some of you are getting involved with a new situation here with a person, they're still very prominent. There's still a lot of attention that's being given. But, the work and the effort that's being put through, I question on this. And there may be a lot that is like riding on this situation though too for you. And it's like really like overwhelming. You may have other things going on, and yet you have this in your space right now, and I can understand why the fear would be heartbreak. Who are you dealing with, Virgo? My goodness. And then coming out, the Three of Wands. I look at it this way, and I think even though the situation may be like really taxing on you, you're still putting in the hard work here, and you're still wanting to see more. But it's looking at, how much work are you willing to put in for the long term, though, when you're looking at the Three of Wands, right? Now, you may be waiting, though, on them and to see what they're doing, But the thing is I feel like the attention goes both ways here with the Six of Wands. Now, because I'm not seeing, other than the Three of Swords, but we're talking about hopes and fears here. I'm not seeing a lot of deception. I don't think that this is about manipulation. I think it's about you having confidence in yourself to continue this, especially if this is a newer situation for some of you. With the Magician being confident in your ability to create what you want, especially when it comes to the long term when dealing with a person. Now, with the Ace of Swords, we're talking about absolute mental clarity and the truth, right? Accepting the truth that, this is something that I think that it doesn't matter. Like, you're going to continue to bend to, what a person may want that you're dealing with right now. Because like I said, it doesn't look bad with him other than you fearing this. But with the Star being there, that's big. And I wonder if you don't have somebody coming through like really quickly here that may be different than what you've dealt with before. And with the Star, they may be bringing some hope and some healing, especially with the attention that's being given. But, for you, what is that clarity though? And I worry about that with that being hopes and fears and you being overwhelmed. Maybe it's just that there needs to be some truth on what you're expecting. But either way, looking at the Star coming out, if you are both putting in the effort here. There may be a lot writing on it for you, but this still looks good to me. Especially with the Three of Wands, because we're not looking at the Nine of Cups here and you hoping to have your wishes fulfilled. That's bigger with the Star. You know, this is something coming through that may actually make you feel really good and heal some of the burdens that you may have been carrying around for a really long time. You may be opening up in a really big way to somebody new. And I think once that happens, some of you may be fearing this. I don't actually see this manifesting. It only will if, you focus on it too much. But I don't think so because of looking at this. It actually looks really good. But like I said, with the Two of Pentacles, it's either you're dealing with another situation and you need to drop that and focus more on, putting your effort into the long term, possibly with a person here that's giving you equal amount of attention that you're giving them, or you need to watch how much you're willing to bend for somebody else. But I don't feel like it's a bad thing though, I think that for some of you, and that may be why there's the fear of heartbreak here, especially if this is a newer situation, because I do get that looking at this. And again, it's only going to be for some of you. Let me start here. Separation in the Ten of Swords, that's, the painful ending. It may be that you need to accept that a situation is over with. And that may be where the juggling act is coming in for some of you with the Two of Pentacles. But this is overpowering it. It's just that for some of you who are in a relationship or were, it may be coming to a difficult end. Now, for some of you, you may be fearing, though, that the separation is going to be it for good. I kind of get that too. And that's only because the Three of Swords being hopes and fears. But this is an ending, a separation and an ending for some of you. But again, that's only for some. But when you're talking about new situations coming through, for those of you who are ending a relationship and you've been separated for somebody and it's been really painful, you definitely have something new coming through. But with the Nine of Cups being connected to that, it's good. It's just that there isn't a willingness here to show all of yourself yet to this person. When you're looking at the Nine of Cups with this deck, there is a real love, a real connection, a lot of happiness. And that is perfect. It is perfect. With deception, there may be things that you may fear showing this person, especially being in a new situation. You know what it feels like? To me, looking at it, it's one of those things where you don't want them to see you without your makeup on, which could be possible for some of you. But it looks good. It looks good. I don't think that you're dealing with somebody who is trying to deceive you. I think the deception there is coming on, your part. It could be on theirs, but because I'm looking at this, it's only being afraid to show who you truly are to each other. But look at where you are. It's good. It's really good. Those of you who were in relationships, though, that's a little rough. And again, that's only going to be for a very small few here. But I do see this leading into a brand new, and I mean brand new, situation for some of you. All right, Virgo. So, and like I've said before, I don't intentionally go into these readings looking at relationships. It just seems to be something that's sticking to me right now. And a lot of that is because the reason why we go to tarot readings sometimes is to find out what is going on in our love lives, what's going on with our relationships. And I think that's what I'm tapping into this week in a crazy way. But then again, I am using the deck that I love to use for love readings. So as far as the oracle cards, looking at Monster Within and Instinct, your instincts are guiding you to the higher ground. What is going to be better for you? Your angels are guiding you there. But you need to look at the way that you deal with situations. Looking at the monster within. And that to me shows up with what your hopes and fears are showing here. There is a lot, and I mean a lot, riding on this situation here. And I do think that some of you are looking to, get rid of that weight and go back to that passionate new beginning with the one, right? It looks like some of you may have gotten quickly involved in a situation, or some of you will here, with a person. And with the Six of Wands being there, I feel like there is attention being given both ways. I don't think that this is a one-sided thing, though I do think that for some of you the question becomes, is it worth putting in so much effort into? But you do, though, and that's the thing. But, there's so much writing on this, right? But you move into a place where you really start to work on this. Now, looking at the Two of Pentacles, like I said, this could be for those of you who are dealing with two separate situations here and needing to drop one to make the most of this new situation, or it's about you being a little bit too flexible for somebody else. But really, for me, it's like needing to get better balance over what is going on with you because of your hopes and fears being the Three of Swords. Why did it have to go there? I don't think that this is something that's going to happen. I feel like this is what you're fearing based on being a part of a newer situation. And like I said, this is only going to be for some of you. I don't know what the hell I'm tapping into this week, I swear to God. Now, with your Three of Wands coming out and looking at the Eight of Pentacles, this is putting in a lot of effort here toward what the long term may hold. And you may be waiting to hear or waiting to see how this other person is going to respond. But with the Six of Wands, again, being in your environment, that's a good thing. It's a good thing, right? Now, the clarifiers, I don't think that this has to do with deception at all. I think that with the Magician and the Ace of Swords, it's one of those things where, you need to get to a place where you feel confident in manifesting what you want out of this situation, especially with all the hard work that you're putting in. But then I look at the Ace of Swords and I look at the Star, and I feel like the truth here is that this person could possibly bring a lot of healing to you. But because of everything that you've been through before, which is why we're looking at this as hopes and fears, there's like a lot riding on this, right? I don't so much think that this is about somebody who has or who is going to break your heart. I don't think that that's it. I think that this is a new situation for some of you. And I feel like confirmed in that, looking at what's happening with relationships. Let me just start with, for those of you who are or were. And again, not for everybody, okay? This is not going to be for everybody. Separation and the Ten of Swords. Now, we could be talking about you possibly looking at getting back together with somebody, but then, I don't know, because I would have expected to see like the Nine of Swords and it being like a difficult thing where you're trying to get back together. This to me is ending. It's a painful ending. It's over with. I feel like for some of you, the separation is final, or it needs to be, because I look at the Ten of Swords and I think she really needs to get over this. Right? Because all she's doing is continuing to hurt herself by looking back at, the person that she was with and they're with somebody else because of the couple in the background. Again, that's only going to be for some of you. But this is leading into something completely new. Now, deception, yeah, that bothers me a little bit, but I don't think that it's like bad, deceptive, negative type of energy here. I do think that this is a new situation. And then looking at the Nine of Cups, yeah, if you wanted something really good to go along with deception to balance that out, that's really good. Like really good. I love the Nine of Cups because this to me is love. This isn't just about wanting to hook up with somebody. This is love. Love and happiness, a real emotional connection. And it looks really good. The deception there is just that you're not showing all of yourself, and they may not be either. Because it's a newer situation, it may happen really quickly for some of you. I don't think that this is bad. Virgo. I think that you've dealt with enough bad shit, but what you have coming to you this time may actually be something that's going to light that fire under you for sure. But to me, it looks like it's going to create hope for you. And there's going to be a better truth and understanding when it comes to, you know, how you have seen situations like this before because of the Three of Swords being there. But like I said, I see this as a good thing, Virgo. If you do have somebody coming through, don't put so much on it.